The Panasonic G7 is regarded highly as a value 4K video camera for many good reasons. Here are 10 of my favorite traits of this camera. Number 1. The price. You can generally find this camera selling for $600 US, but if you're patient, it occasionally dips down to $500. Just getting a 4K camera for this price is amazing, but with the following features it gets even better. Number 2. Image quality. Not only can this camera record video in 4K, but it does it at 100 megabits per second, which results in no noticeable compression artifacts. It can even shoot in standard 1080p at 60 FPS for smooth slow motion playback. Number 3 has to be the Micro Four Thirds mounting system. Not only are there plenty of native lenses to choose from, but you can adapt nearly all other mounts to it. This makes it possible to use vintage lenses or lenses that you already own for a modern DSLR. You can adapt most Canon, Nikon, and Pentax lenses, with the only real exception being Sony. There might be some problems with autofocus or stabilization, but overall, it's great to have so many lenses to choose from. Number 4 is the level of manual control. I'm coming from a camcorder, so it's amazing to be able to control shutter speed, aperture, ISO, and focus manually while recording, compared to the camera doing it all for you. You might already be used to this if you're using a DSLR, but it's a great step up from a camcorder. Number 5 is that it also takes good pictures. Most people buy this camera for video, but let's not neglect its photo-taking abilities. It can shoot 16 megapixel RAWs and JPEGs, which isn't that impressive for 2018, but it still beats a camcorder or a phone. It can shoot 16 megapixel photos at 8 frames per second and 8 megapixel photos at 30 frames per second. It's also nice to have the previously mentioned manual control for photos that phones just don't give you. Number 6 is something that a lot of people forget to mention, but it's physically well designed. It's very comfortable to hold for long periods of time and doesn't weigh as much as a DSLR. Number 7 builds upon the camera being comfortable because of its articulating touchscreen. This is often a forgotten point as well. It's nice to be able to tilt the screen up and get a low shot, or tilt the screen down when it's high up on a tripod. I don't record myself much, but you can also flip the screen forwards to see yourself while you talk. A lot of DSLRs lack this flexibility. Number 8 is the in-depth menu system. It's very convenient to change camera settings, and there are a lot of them. You can map any 10 of the 55 quick settings to 5 physical and 5 touchscreen quick access buttons. Many settings give you a lot of granular control, such as zebras letting you select the percentage. Number 9 is the Viewfinder. I don't find myself using this one often, but it's nice to have when it's needed. When it's too bright outside to see the screen, it's convenient to have a viewfinder. Although not directly related, the ability to use a phone as a remote control and monitor further adds to this convenience. Number 10 is autofocus, but only in photo mode. It focuses very quickly and accurately on the subject. The 49 area autofocus mode is really nice because it lets you select a region on the screen to focus on. You can probably imagine where this is going with the negatives of this camera, the number one thing being autofocus in video mode. Check out my other video on the negatives of this camera on the card to the top right.